Good afternoon. This is Rob Hoxton. I have Amanda Runkles with me today. We're glad you're on the call. We're going to be talking about an introduction to HFI WealthView. HFI WealthView is a new technology that we've acquired and will be used with our financial planning and investment management clients. It's an amazing tool. It was actually quite complicated and expensive, but we're going to use this with our clients. It's not going to cost you anything. We're just hoping that it gives you a greater level of involvement in the financial planning process and more clarity, more confidence that your financial objectives will be met. So I think that you'll find the presentation that we have for you today to be very interesting. HFI WealthView is essentially a private personal website. We have a screenshot that I'm going to pull up, and Amanda's going to go through some of the specifics of the service here shortly. But it's a personal website that's tailored to you and to your financial picture. It has your financial goals in it. It has your various accounts, not only the accounts that we're managing for you from Fidelity or Schwab or TIAA CREF or SCI, but also accounts that you choose, if you wish, to include in this aggregation of information. So you might have your checking accounts, savings accounts, maybe credit cards, of course your investments, like your 401k if you're still working and you have money at your employer's 401k. Information about your insurance, loans like your home mortgage, and then property, personal property, collectibles, art, jewelry, business assets, all of these things. So the idea behind this website is to have one place where you can go and see all of your financial picture in one spot and update it in real time so that it's really useful. There are a lot of other features there that you'll see, and this is really a collaborative effort, one in which, along with your advisor, you're working with information and aggregating it here so that we can provide you with more timely and accurate advice. It also gives you the opportunity to see it not only on your own personal computer, but if you wish, also your mobile smartphone. So there's a smartphone application, which we'll talk about as well. So you're probably wondering, wow, this is really cool, but what about security? So it's a very secure system. It has the highest level of internet encryption. And what's interesting is that this is just a repository of information. If someone were to, if you were to lose your password or someone were to take your password and gain access to your personal financial website, they would see what you have. What they wouldn't see are important information like your social security number. They wouldn't see your date of birth, your mailing address, your mother's maiden name, any of those important security items. Those are not available. They wouldn't be able to execute a transaction. You can't request a check from this website. You have to do that by calling us or calling other financial institutions. So it's very secure, but it's very powerful. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the microphone over to Amanda Runkles, who's HFI's Director of Financial Planning. Those of you who have met her know that she's a dynamic professional. She's not only a certified financial planner, but also a certified public accountant, and just generally a great professional. So I'm going to turn this over to Amanda, and she will walk us through this fantastic application.
Thank you, Rob, and thank you for joining us today to go through this webinar. I'm going to show you an overview of the website. Of course, this would be personalized to you once it's set up for your behalf. And that would happen on the back end here at HFI. We would set you up with a username and send you a link. And then you'd set up your own password and you would be able to access this for your own information. We would obviously input the accounts at Fidelity and Charles Schwab. And you'd put in everything else to the extent you're interested in doing so. Of course, we're encouraging clients to put in more, almost everything that they have, so that this is accurate and detailed. But of course, that's not required in any way. So this is the home page that you'd see when you first log in. There's obviously a lot of information here. It's a high level of information. What's really cool about the program is that there are hyperlinks everywhere within it, and you can drill down as much as you want to and see lots of information. And I'm going to show you some examples of this as we go through. I'm going to come back to the home page at the end to kind of bring everything together. But the first place I want to show you is where we enter everything. And that's in this Organizer tab. So this is where you'll enter your account information, other asset information that you may have, your real estate, your personal property, etc. You can see a list of items here that you can enter, and you have control over what's entered. The great thing about this is it allows you to be interactive in the retirement plan process. So when you see things like income, expenses, and savings, that allows you to take part in things that we talk about in the retirement plan process. And we'll go through this in a little more detail. It's really easy to enter all of this stuff. If you're a little wary of technology, you shouldn't be worried, because this is really easy to follow. We're going to click on the first tab here under Accounts. So this is where you'll add anything that has a username and a password. So you can add things like your bank account, your credit card, your insurance policies, any loan information that you access online, anything really that has a username and password you can enter, and the system will update the balances and bring in any transactions that occur through that account. It's really easy to add the account. You follow the prompts. As you can see in the upper right hand corner, there's an add button. Now, of course, this is a fictitious client. I should have said that from the beginning. These aren't real clients. So their information's already loaded, but if you were doing this for your own website, you'd click the add button. You'd be prompted to put in your institution's name or their website. Here, you'd click search, and it would bring up a place to put in your username and your password and your security questions and answers, and then it would link your account into this. Of course, if there's a problem down the road with the link, your password changes or something along those lines, you'll have an alert on the home page when you first sign in that shows you that you need to update something. Nonetheless, this is where you enter all of your account information. Now, if you want to enter other assets, you would do that here under real estate, property, and business. Again, it's a very simple process. All you would do is click the add button and then select the type of asset that you're adding, assign a value to it. It's very user-friendly. Going through the list, you can add family and friends, so you can add your spouse's information, your children, or any other dependents that you have that are relevant to your financial plan. Professional contacts are listed here. So again, our name will be listed here for you as your advisor. But you can add your attorney, your CPA, your insurance agent. It's a really convenient place to store all of the contact information and be able to access it anytime you need to. I don't know how often I'm out meeting with one of my professional contacts and I need the information for another professional contact and it's difficult for me to find it. But this is one place where you can access everything. This is the part of the organizer where you can put in your income, expenses, and savings. Again, it's a very easy process. You'll just follow the prompts for adding each category. So you'll click add for income, add for expenses, and add for savings into your retirement accounts. You can include other goals like retirement ages, major expenses you expect to have, education expenses, etc. And this is a really neat part of the program. You can compare your priorities to that of your spouse. You can list what's important to each of you and then compare those. have interesting conversations about how you're going to move forward together and what you want to accomplish. And then here at the end is a risk tolerance questionnaire for those of you that are interested in doing that. But again, the organizer is where you basically input all of your information. So you may be wondering, what will my advisor see once I input all of this information? As the advisor, we see a lot of what you input here. From the accounts perspective, we'll see the balances of the accounts you input, but we will not see the spending or budgets that you set up, and I'm going to show you that in the next area. But that's something that you specifically have to give us permission to see. We will be able to see any financial planning items that you put in, so your income, expenses, your financial objectives, etc. So we will be able to see all of that as well. So since we're talking about spending, let's go over here to the spending tab, and I can show you this is a really neat feature. So I actually set this up for myself, and I can tell you I found it really beneficial and helpful and really interesting to go through this process. I'm going to start here on the right hand side and work left, since it'll make more sense to see the flow that way. But when you enter your accounts in the organizer, like your credit card or your bank statement, all of the transactions will flow into this part of the program. So they'll come in, you can see the date that they occurred, the amount. You may have to categorize them. Sometimes the categories come over appropriately, sometimes they come over as unclassified, so you'll have to go in and tweak them. But setting up categories is really important if you're going to set up a budget, and I'll show you that next. But like I said, you can drill down and find out more information in all the different areas of this program, but I'm going to show you one example of that now. So here I can sort my transactions by category, or I can sort my transactions by the account. So right now I'm looking at all of the transactions. If I wanted to just see what was coming in through Wells Fargo, I could do that. You can also sort based on the date range. So if you wanted to see last month's transactions, etc. So that's really important to know. Now, I set up an alert for my transactions on my own personal website, so that if there's an expense that exceeds a threshold that I've set up, I'll get an email that says, hey, you know, there's a large expense that has hit your account. You need to go in and make sure that this is legitimate. So I'll, log in and make sure everything's okay. But it really gives me a high level of confidence that if my identity was stolen, I would get an email with these large expenses before I'd probably notice it on my credit card statement. So that's a really neat feature that I've personally enjoyed. So moving past transactions. So the transactions flow into the budget. Once you categorize your expenses, they'll fall in over here to the right. And to set up a budget, it's really easy. You're going to add a budget item. It will ask you what type of budget item you want to set up. Let's say, for example, we want to set up an education budget item. We'll enter the amount and then click add. And you can see that it was added here as a line item. And then it will pull the expenses from the transaction side and post them here to the budget side, and you'll be able to tell how much in any given month you're spending. It's a really neat feature. Again, you can set up an alert so that at any given time during the month, if you're getting close to your budget or over your budget, you'll get an email for that as well. Now the budget also flows up to the overview page, and this is where all of the expenses are detailed, or excuse me, they're at a high level, and you can see them compared to any budgets that you've set up. So you can see there are a few line items that don't have any budgets associated with them. So moving past spending, again, actually let me point out while I'm here, your advisor will not see your spending unless you specifically give them permission. So you would do that in the settings page. We would be able to see the balance of the credit card or the balance of your checking account, but we would not see anything in this entire section unless the client gives us access to that. And you can give the advisor limited access only to see the overview and budget tab, or you can give them full access to see everything, or no access at all. So that's important to know. Let's look at the Investments tab. And of course, once you've entered all of your investment accounts, so Fidelity and Charles Schwab would already be included. Any other investment accounts you want to add would be here as well. You can see that they're all listed under the Investments tab. And the first part of this is a summary where you'll see each individual account that you've uploaded. Again, we can drill down into each one of these and look at the individual holdings and see what's included in that account. Now, I can't do this from the demo, but if this were your actual website, you could actually drill down a little bit further and click on this holding, and it would bring up a Morningstar report on that holding. So that's really interesting. If you wanted to see what your allocation was, this is the next tab. So you can see how much of your total portfolio is in equities versus bonds versus other investments. Again, you can drill down. If I wanted to know, well, what investments do I have that are classified as large cap growth? I can just drill down on this, and then I'll get a list of my individual holdings that fall under that category. And so you can do that at an aggregate level or at an account level by drilling down further. The Analysis tab will just chart the net change in the total value for different time periods. You can see the different time periods listed here at the top, and then each account is color-coded with a different color, and so you can follow it on the chart. Then, of course, you can access your transactions. So this is a great feature. You can get all of this information from here rather than logging into Fidelity or checking your statements or getting into the client portal. Everything's all in one place, so that's really neat. Quickly wanted to point out as well, there's tons of information here, and I don't want to get too detailed, but I can also see what today's change in my account values are, so that's really neat. Okay, a couple other sections I want to show you. This is the Vault, and the Vault contains folders that the client creates, again, that only the client can see unless you give specific permission to the advisor to see them. But this creates folders where you can put personal information. So this sample client has created folders for appraisals and artwork and bequests. And so if you drill down into each of these, there's interesting information that the client has put in so that that the client can see and have access to, or their heirs can have access to as well. And then finally, the Reports tab is a really neat way for you to access reports or detailed information about your financial situation anytime that you want to. So let's say you need to provide a balance sheet to the bank on a regular basis, or you're about to apply for a loan and you need a balance sheet, or you need to run a report, a cash flow report for some reason. You can access that from here as long as you input all of your asset information. So again, this can be tailored to you. The drop-down box will allow you to choose between different types of reports to run. You can choose a balance sheet. You can choose different types of investment reports, cash flow report, life insurance summary. So there's all different types of options here for you to add for yourself. So if we wanted to look at what our asset allocation was, here we go. It's ready for us. And again, these update every day. So it's very accurate and very detailed for you. Now I'll go back to the home page to kind of wrap things up. Hopefully you've gotten a good overview of what this offers. This home page is really a way to bring everything together. So again, if we were to drill down into these individual sections, it would take us to the areas that I just showed you. So the balance sheet section, the investment section, the spending tab, life insurance. Here at the bottom, we have instructions for downloading the mobile app. So it's a really neat way. I won't get too detailed into this now. It works pretty easily. You send yourself an email with a link, and then you create a bookmark onto your home page. And you can actually access this from your phone very similarly to how an app would work. So you would just click that button on your phone. You'd be asked to enter your username and password, and then you'd be brought to this page and be able to navigate this through this as you would on any desktop computer. So it's a really neat way to access everything. If you're on the go, or if you think about something while you're out running errands, you can do all of that from your phone, and so that's a really cool feature. I hope this was beneficial, and I hope that provided a lot of information. I'm going to pass this back to Rob so that he can close things up.
Amanda, thank you. That was fantastic. I'm guessing that you probably can see why we're excited about this technology. It sort of brings together so much, creates a really great platform for collaboration between you, the client, and us, the financial planner, and should help us provide greater confidence and clarity that your goals are being met, that you're on track to meet those financial objectives, and we're just really excited about it. Now, what needs to happen is if you're interested in having this tool, you need to reach out to us. Either call us by calling 888-222-2904 or sending your advisor an email, and we'll get you set up. There's a little bit of work on our end that needs to be done, and then we can collaborate with you to get the other components set up and working the way they're supposed to. So we're also interested, if in listening to this today, if you would give us feedback whether or not you think this is a worthwhile enhancement, or it's something you're not really interested in. That's really quite okay. It may not be for everyone, but we think it's going to be for a lot of folks a really neat tool. So we hope that you will not be bashful in sharing your either criticism or praise for this product, and we look forward to hearing that. So we wish you the best. Our the next installment in our quarterly webinar series will be in July, when Chris Dorsey, our analyst, presents on the economy and the financial markets and what we should expect for the second half of the year. So be sure to keep an eye out for that invitation. We think you'll find that worthwhile as well. And thank you for tuning in for this one.